following show is for entertainment purposes only and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of Empire Media LLC, its subsidiaries, affiliates, sponsors, and advertisers.
Can they hear me? Can they hear me live out there? Next beat. That ain't the beat I want.
Those was wood
another
beats
beat.
right
Another
there.
beat. Nope. Give me another beat. Give me another beat. Nope. That's not it. That's the beat. Turn it up. Oh, word. Turn it up. I gotta hear it a little louder. Can you make it louder than my headphones? Turn me up in my headphones. I'm still stuck in the 80s/90s. Lottos, kangaroo boots, natty ghosts, feelers, jumpsuits and troops, Junos, color Levi's, Bugs Bunny sweaters with the rhinestone ring on it. Fighting and making up the next day. Nobody getting shot. Working or hustling to get it or get got. We had love for the streets, our family, our foes, our friends. Respect for the elderly. Pager/payphone, sneaking into Adams Theater. Watching Crush grooving tougher than leather. Out the gates, out the college port. To bang out, cause you don't wanna get caught at mom's crib or at Vaughn's crib. Eating funny dinner with the fam. Church every Sunday, 8 o'clock a.m. And even if I fell asleep in the back row or played sick, no matter what, man, I still had to go 80s, baby. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper. 80s, baby. He's a DJ, I'm the rapper.
Welcome, everybody, to the X-Cast. Coming at you today with episode number 46. Coming out a little late for our live viewers. Sorry about that, but there's reasons for that. We'll get to them in a little bit. I'm your host, Josh Houslander. With me, as always, Adam Hernandez, working the boards, doing all the hard work, doing the real job here at the X-Cast. It's day 4,735 in the search for Tim Shovelday. What is up, Adam?
Nothing much. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out all these new formats and everything.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's a live show. I mean, we do it live. Not everybody listens live, but we do it live, so it's kind of a chore sometimes to figure all this stuff out, to do, throw it out there, even though we have been doing this for a long time. But
we haven't been doing this,
right?
What we're doing tonight.
It's just new formats every day, and you try to stay up on it. It's really cool stuff, though, which that's something we want to cover real quick here, just so people know. Obviously, you're already listening somewhere, but we are on a ton of new formats now. Adam, tell us a little bit about this. Where can they catch us live? Where can they catch us for download? Where, what are all the new formats that we are now available on?
Okay, well, we're going to be. I mean, you can still catch us, live on our website at the empiremedia.com through Mixler, and that's probably going to be still the best format as far as quality goes, sound quality to listen to us through. That's not a video option, though. We are on multiple video platforms now. You can catch us on our Facebook page at Empire X Media on Facebook Live. You can catch us on Periscope at Empire TV, and you can catch us on YouTube as well. Which we've got. We're going to go ahead and plug our YouTube channel here shortly. Hopefully, I can get something up on the Facebook page if you want to go and head over to that, because there's past content and everything on there, past audio content on there. And then, like always, you can get us on iTunes, and which is linked right off of our website, theempiremedia.com. And you can download or just go listen to us on Mixcloud right on our website, theempiremedia.com. And we have kind of our show page up there. That's done, and that'll be up tomorrow. But those two formats right there are just audio version or video or audio versions. Excuse me.
Very cool. And YouTube, you said, right? And Periscope.
YouTube and Periscope. Yep.
YouTube, Periscope, two other places. Those are apps you can download. Or Periscope, at least you can get some sort of app.
Periscope is actually done right through. It's basically right through Twitter. So if you go to our Empire TV Twitter page, just go to, like I said, at Empire TV, and you'll be able to find it right there at the top.
Sweet. And you can do that for our other shows, run through the Empire Media as well, correct?
Yeah, you can. You just have to do some scrolling and looking for it on there. So that's best for just a live version. If you want to go and look at past episodes, go to our YouTube channel or go to our website or iTunes or something like that. Find us on there. So
very cool. And that's still the best place to find the other shows that are run through too. The Majors Live, the Houslander and Freddie Hours.
Exactly.
Like
Yep.
Very cool. So hopefully everyone's checking that stuff out, whatever interests you. If you're a competitive gaming guy, check out Houslander and Freddy Hour. If you are a sports fan, check out the Majors Live, the old show that I used to be on before Adam fired me. And, well, that's pretty much, those are the main ones out on there right now, right? Or any other shows you want to throw out there a quick plug for?
Yeah, you can listen to our wrestling show, The Bottom Rope, every Thursday night at about 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're a Detroit sports fan, Motor City Uncut, 7 o'clock p.m. Monday nights over on TMS Next Detroit. I believe that's it as far as live shows go.
So please go check out the website. Look around a little bit, find something you like. And all those shows we talked about, if it's not exactly your cup of tea, they're still fun shows to listen to.
Sure.
So give them a shot, Give them a shot. I mean, the Houslander and Freddy Hour, we're supposed to talk about competitive gaming, but we don't always. We talk about whatever we want to talk about.
I think I saw some comments about it because Rudy was posting it somewhere and somebody was saying something like, I thought this was about video games.
It is on occasion. But it's about video games more probably. I don't think we've ever had a show where we didn't mention video games, but we always talk about other things.
I tell you what, those video game nerds, and I'll go ahead and call them nerds.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
They are in with their video games, man. It's like it's no joke. Like they are in with their video games. Like if you fuck with their video games, then look out.
No, the video and we should plug this too because this Thursday in 2 days, Adam is going to be joining Nick and I, the old host here with us, our old guy from the Majors Live, and who was originally when we started the XCast.
Actually, Soroka's an old host too.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I mean from way back in the day at Detroit Rowdy Radio, we were all together at one point, and now we're all branching out because a lot of different shows to do. But you can check out Adam this coming up Thursday, 2 days from now. That is what, the 8th? Thursday the 8th?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, June 8th. Adam is going to be on with us and Settled on the Screen Live, which you can find on Facebook Live and only on Facebook Live, actually. Nick's show on there, which is 5 nights a week. But Adam's going to be on there, starting some trouble, starting some controversy, getting on there talking with the gamers. But it is true, man. I love the gamers out there. They're my people. I've been doing the competitive gaming journalism, if you will, for close to 10 years now.
Yeah.
For the Twin Galaxies podcast, Twin Galaxies show, Settled on the Screen, and now I do at least a day or 2 or 3 a week with the Settled on the Screen Live guys. But I love the gamers, man. But they are intense sometimes. They are intense. Some of them out there are not all of them. A lot of most of them are just really cool, down to earth people. But you get some people out there, they get pretty upset, pretty offended. So when you actually have a show, I mean, like the Houslander and Freddy Hour doesn't have a huge following yet, but when you actually have people in the gaming world contacting you saying, "Hey, when's the next show come out? Come on, man, you're driving me crazy. When's the next show?" Instantly think, wow, like it really is kind of like that "they like me, they really like me" moment, because the people that listen to the people that pay attention to the hardcore aspects of the competitive gaming world are not always the easiest people to please. So whether they're listening because they're pleased by it or listening because it's pissing them off, either way they're listening, and that's good. That is definitely good.
Look, I don't want to do anything to not get me an invite back because
no, we definitely want you on Thursday and watch on in the future too. So, but, it'll be fun. We'll have some fun with that.
And I haven't seen Nick and Mike in a while too.
No,
so.
it will be good. It will be good. But yeah, no, I mean we've there's a lot of old shows with us together on.
It's nice that we use our names now too. We're not going by Squirrel or Arseface or
that's true.
Nicholas or
that we should say that. I know there's people that listen every week, and there are a few of those devoted people that really have been listening to us for years. And to those people, we love you. You guys are the best. It's awesome to hear from people like that who have been around for a long time listening. But yeah, we should make note of that. If you go back and listen to some of the old stuff, that when you hear Nicholas and Squirrel and Timmel and guys like this. That Mike Soroka is Timmel, and Nick Houslander is Nicholas, and I am Squirrel. That was us. So it's the same people back then. We just went by really goofy names when we were first, getting into the podcasting.
God, man, Flash and Diggler and
there was
Artifact and
there was a good 5 years of my life where I answered to Squirrel like it was my regular name. I mean, even off air, that was just people called me Squirrel. Facebook actually kicked me off because I was using the name Squirrel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Facebook actually made me. They wouldn't let me log in. I was on Facebook originally as Josh Squirrel Houslander.
What a bunch of assholes!
Yeah,
man.
and Facebook actually did. I went to log in, and they would not let me log in. They said that's not a real name. I'm like,
Facebook,
but it's actually my stage name, But
Facebook are such bitches.
They really are.
I tell you what, I really can't stand Facebook sometimes.
Me too. It's such a love-hate relationship you have to have with Facebook.
And it's so big too. Like if you're doing anything online, you have to be in with Facebook.
Oh, you really do.
I mean, Facebook and Twitter, those are the two things you need to be in on.
Yeah, you can't just ignore them.
No, you can't.
The other things you could possibly potentially ignore if you want to, but no, you're absolutely right. Twitter, Facebook, you gotta be in with them if you want to have a presence online at all, basically. Adam, speaking of things that suck,
Sure.
this was not on the rundown.
Oh, I thought we were gonna get right into Donald Trump. When you mentioned that.
No. No. Okay. You know how we talked about this briefly off air. I have been eating the handy snacks. I've been eating these for years during our podcast.
Yeah, most people stop eating those after they left elementary school, but go ahead.
Yeah, Adam has made fun of me for years because he's like the only person over the age of 11 that still eats handy snacks. But come to notice when I bought my handy snacks today that I'm looking at the box. And I'm buying it, and they're showing you dipping the cracker in the cheese and not using the little red stick they give you to spread it. And I'm like, why would they show that on the side of the box? I mean, come on. Nobody dips the crackers in the cheese. Come to find out, this is BS propaganda being spread by Nabisco or Kraft or whoever makes these things. Is it Nabisco?
BS propaganda.
It is complete propaganda that they're spreading because they don't give you the damn stick anymore, man.
Look, I'm with you on that one, Josh. I can't imagine why they wouldn't give you the stick. I mean, how you supposed to get the cheese on the cracker if you don't have the stick?
It doesn't even work right, man. I mean, the stick is the best part. It really is the best part of this, and I'm not kidding, dude. I'm pissed. I'm pissed about this. And then to make matters worse, they gave me only half a cracker. When I bought this package, I thought it was a broken cracker.
I think
but they actually only gave me 3.5 crackers in this one.
I think it's time to write a letter, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely writing a letter. We might get them live on air. If we can get through them. But it's crap, man. The stick was what it was all about.
It's true.
And I'm pissed about it, man. So everybody, let's do something about this. Let's write letters. I need to start some sort of campaign again for handy snacks because I don't even want to deal with them anymore. I didn't even open that one. I don't even want to deal with it.
I don't blame you, man.
Without the stick, it's crap. It's bullshit. Really, it is. I'm done with it.
It's crap.
It is, man. Oh man, I'm pissed about this. I feel like, and my kids are gonna grow up in a world where you have nothing to spread fake cheese on crappy crackers.
No, that is bullshit.
It does. It sucks, man. But hey, you know what? This is fun to be back on a regular show. We've been doing so much with the deep issues and kind of like specialty nerd episodes, and we got a couple of those coming up next week, week after. But, Adam and I haven't had a real chance to just kind of talk about basic issues. In fact, there's some stuff we missed. We didn't really even cover the Chris Cornell death.
No, we didn't. I know
we're both huge fans.
I love Soundgarden. I liked Audio Slave. Thought Audio Slave was really good. I thought it was something different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Rage Against the Machine fan too.
Sure.
and I do know that there were some Rage fans out there that I know they weren't very in on Audio Slave, considering Zach De La Rocha wasn't part of it. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was different, and I liked it. It worked. I thought they had some good hits, and still, I prefer Soundgarden to Audio Slave, and I prefer Rage Against the Machine to Audio Slave. But still, it was.
I'm with you on that too. I liked Audio Slave. They did some good stuff. I loved Soundgarden. Loved Soundgarden. Big Temple of the Dog fan too.
I thought Temple of the Dog was good too. Didn't they only release one album?
Yeah,
though?
yeah. It was never supposed to be a group. They were a super group.
Yeah.
It's
like damn Yankees.
Yeah. I am basically like a lot of those old, cool bands. It's one of the ones that actually kind of worked. They have a good album. And a lot of people don't realize that the Temple of the Dog record is really good. I know this is kind of old news, but the Temple of the Dog record they have is really good. And people know that one song, which is a great song, but where Eddie Vedder, the I'm Going Hungry song.
Yeah.
But that's the only song Eddie Vedder sings for Temple of the Dog. Chris Cornell.
All the rest of it's
Chris Cornell is the lead singer of Temple of the Dog, except for that song where it's really actually a duet between Eddie Vedder and Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you would say Eddie Vedder does the lead, but you can tell Chris Cornell's singing a lot in that song as well. But that I think a lot of people don't realize that. They say, "Oh yeah, Temple of the Dog, Eddie Vedder was the lead." No, actually he wasn't. He's only on that song. Chris Cornell's the lead singer. It was Chris Cornell and Stone Gossard, I believe. The guitar player from Pearl Jam, I believe, were kind of like the big, the big force behind Temple of the Dog.
Sure.
I believe this is all kind of old news, but that's kind of cool stuff. Sometimes, when you get a tragedy like what happened with Chris Cornell, it does kind of gives you the unfortunate opportunity to go hear some of that music you never did hear before. Because that was a cool record they did. Yeah. And some Soundgarden's old stuff is just so cool. They were still great live.
The thing is I think Chris Cornell was extremely underrated when it came to him as a vocalist.
Oh, me too.
I mean, I heard this. I heard it online. It was Black Hole Sun, but it was just the lyrics. It was just the vocals. Nothing else. No guitars, no bass, no drums, nothing. It was just the vocal track in it. And usually when you hear something like that, it doesn't sound great.
They sound weird.
It sounds
choppy.
Yeah, it sounds choppy. It sounds misplaced, which for the most part it should, because that's not how you're supposed to listen to that song. But I'll tell you what though, Josh, it was pretty remarkable in terms of the sound of it. Like, you could sit there and you could listen to that, and I don't know if the word I'm looking for is satisfied, but it's satisfying to listen to. Like, if you want to listen to Black Hole Sun, like, you could probably listen to that version and be like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Because there's some versions like a acoustic version of a song. Like, if you want to hear a version of a song, for instance, like Everlong from the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
I love both versions. I love the acoustic version, and I love the actual version of it. I'll always like the actual version. If I want to listen to Everlong, I'm going to go and listen to the actual version of Everlong, not the acoustic version of it. But the sound, Chris Cornell is so good. His vocals are so compelling that it works. It works by itself. And I don't think you could say that for especially a lot of guys from that era. Like, could you go and put in a Nirvana record and listen to Heart Shaped Box without the instrument track to it?
It would suck.
Yeah, it would suck. If you just
you're
listen,
absolutely right.
And Nirvana's one of those. And look, I've been one to rag on Nirvana a lot. I like Nirvana. I think they were pioneers, but I think people need to be honest with themselves. Kurt Cobain was a really good songwriter, but as far as a musician and as far as a vocalist goes, he wasn't that good.
No, he really wasn't. And I don't mean to rag on Cobain, and I don't mean to take an opportunity to say, Cornell died a couple weeks ago, so now we're going to talk about how much better he was than Kurt Cobain. I do think he was better than Kurt Cobain, but I'm not trying
Kurt
to...
Cobain wasn't even the most talented person.
No, he wasn't the best singer in that band. He wasn't the best guitar player in that band.
No.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we maybe never would have found that out if it wasn't for the Foo Fighters, but it's the truth. You know, it really
Side
is.
note here, I think Foo Fighters would have came to fruition even if Kurt
I
Cobain
think so
didn't.
too.
I think Dave Grohl could have. I think it only had so much of
Right.
Kurt Cobain.
Dave Grohl was not on the Foo Fighters or on Nirvana's first album. He was, kind of the drummer they picked up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he would have moved on eventually, and Nirvana would have got a new drummer, or however it would have played out, or Kurt Cobain would have went and did his own thing. But I agree with you, Adam. And you're absolutely right about the Chris Cornell and his vocal ability. He is kind of more remembered, or he was more revered while he was alive for his songwriting ability, his guitar ability, his performing, but an amazing vocalist. Another thing you might want to check out, if you ever doubting whether or not Chris Cornell's vocal range is amazing, look up his version of Ave Maria.
Oh,
Chris Cornell actually does a Ave Maria.
Oh, really?
I believe the only thing it appeared on was one of the is it the Very Special Christmas? Though it's the
I didn't even know he did that.
There's that they come out with one almost every year. The Christmas albums that are kind of more modern. A lot of rap guys are on them. But he does a version of Ave Maria.
Wow,
it's incredible.
I'm telling you, not okay. Can you picture even Perry Farewell or Falwell, whatever his name is?
Perry Farrell.
Perry Farrell. There we go. Jane's Addiction. Porno for Pyros. Can you imagine him doing something like that?
No.
Or even Eddie Vedder.
Yeah.
And I think Eddie Vedder's actually a pretty good vocalist.
Yeah. Strong voice.
Strong voice.
Yeah.
It's just not his style. I don't think he could reach. I don't think he could do the ranges that Chris Cornell could.
I agree with you. No, it sucks. He'll be missed, and I know we're late to the party on this, but we were so backed up with our Deep Issues shows. We missed a week, and it's it's rough. We actually talked about it on Settled on the Screen Live, which is
and Nick was there too,
a gaming show. Yeah, Nick from Settled on the Screen Live, and formerly from this show, was he was there at the concert, and I feel blessed that I did actually get to see Chris Cornell and Soundgarden live. At one point, I wasn't at that show in Detroit. That he killed himself afterwards, but I did see them, and it's something that I said this that night on Settled on the Screen Live, that it sounds weird, it sounds corny, all that stuff, but if there's somebody out there that you want to see, go see them. Don't wait, because seriously, you never know what's going to happen with these things, and I'm really happy that I have, and it's not about me, it's about them, it's about their family. I understand all that. That's much more important, but there's a few of them out there that you never know when when they're not going to be here anymore.
Absolutely.
And it's just, and you can, a band can break up, a member can die.
You saw a couple of them. You saw Alice in Chains with Lane Staley.
I did.
You saw Stone Temple Pilots.
I did, yeah, with Whelan. You saw that.
Yep,
as well,
I was
right?
I was at that show with you, and yeah.
No, I've seen a few. I mean, and hey, I'm happy to say one that I missed. I'm a big Eagles fan. I know some people seem to either love or hate the Eagles.
No, I'm not an Eagles fan.
But Glenn Frey died, and that was one of those ones where they reunited. They kept coming back, and I just never wanted to pay the $250 a ticket or something crazy like that. Now I think, I sure wish I would have. What's I know it's a lot of money, but it's it's only money. What are you gonna do? I saw Prince as well.
Oh, you did see Prince.
I did see Prince.
Nice.
And I get tickets. I hope I'm not jinxing them here, but I get tickets to Tom Petty next month. That's somebody that I've always wanted to see.
Tom Petty's getting up there too.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
He's lived a hard life too. But and that's one.
Guns N' Roses.
Yes, I did see Guns N' Roses too, which is incredible. That's one that I never thought I'd get an opportunity to see. I'd still love to see them. I'd love to see them get back with Izzy Stradlin. But yeah, Axl, Slash, and Duff. I mean, beggars can't be choosers. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Especially with that band too.
Yeah, I never, Axl and Slash are the big too, and they had Duff with them too, which is awesome.
Have you seen Aerosmith?
I've seen Aerosmith several times.
Have you?
Yeah, I've seen them quite a few. They're great. They're great. I know Steven Tyler's such a weirdo now. Yeah, and he is. He's just
he did turn into a weirdo.
he's so annoying. You can't help but just. I mean, the guy. Honestly, when I see Steven Tyler now, it kind of makes my skin crawl a little bit. But that being said, man, I love Aerosmith's music. Their old stuff, especially, they were awesome, and I'd see them again tomorrow. They're so good. They're just so great. I've seen them at probably 4 or 5 different venues actually.
Have you?
They're excellent. They're one of the best concerts I've ever seen are them. But it sucks. And really, man, there's that band out there that you want to see. There might not be a next time.
That's true.
Go see them.
Yep.
Go see them early and often. If that's the band you like, even if it's a band you just kind of like, go see them.
Hey, well, we're as I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago about bringing back Deadcast.
Yes.
Should we finish out another one and kind of transition to our first topic?
We could. Yes, absolutely, we could. And for those of you who don't know what Adam's talking about, for years on Detroit Rowdy Radio, we used to have pretty much every week we'd have a Deadcast, just who died this week, and we'd break it down and go over it. So yeah, who else you got in mind, Adam?
Roger Ailes.
Roger Ailes. Yes, that is true. Same day as Chris Cornell.
Was it the same day as Chris
same
Cornell?
day. Yeah, that evening.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah. Well, yeah, technically same day because Chris Cornell was, I believe, after midnight, and then
Roger
Ailes was
day, yeah.
later that evening. But yeah, Roger Ailes did die. But I mean, I'm not trying to say that, of course it sucks for anybody's family, but he was a really old man.
He was a really old man.
Was he? How old was he exactly? I shouldn't say.
I want to say in his 70s.
Okay, so he actually wasn't that.
Yeah, he looked a lot older than he was.
Yeah,
I think he was in his 70s.
Do you know who I was actually confusing it with for a second?
Who's that?
Is it McCloskey from the Pistons?
Oh yeah.
He was pretty much the mastermind of the Bad Boys.
Yep, the architect of the Bad Boys. Yep.
That's what he was 92 or something, I believe, and that's who I was kind of thinking of. Roger Ailes actually was not that old.
I don't think he was.
I think you're right. Yeah, late 70s or something. Which, hey, that sucks. That nowadays, man, if you're dying in your late 70s, it's
too early.
That is too early. That's too early, man. 70s is the new 60s for sure.
I wasn't. In all honesty, I wasn't too broken up about it.
About Roger Ailes?
No.
Yeah, not you. I know you're not a fan.
The thing is too, and I may sound like a complete douche in this, but why is it? Why do we have to sugarcoat it death sometimes?
We do. It's
I mean, because Roger Ailes in just about every aspect was a complete and total asshole. and it's not like he.
I know what you mean. Adam.
And it's not like he died too with in whatever he did happen like years ago. No, what he did, everything came out last summer. And he stepped away. Actually, he didn't step away. He was basically fired by Rupert Murdoch from Fox.
Sure. From
Fox News, because of the workplace that he, in addition to creating Fox News, he also created this hostile work environment where if you were a female going in there and you tried to get ahead, it seemed like you had to go in there and, fluff his nuts for a little while. I mean, he helped create that. It seemed like it carried over to a guy like Bill O'Reilly, which if you want to hold a deadcast for that guy's career now, then we can go ahead and do that as well.
I actually think Bill O'Reilly, I'm not saying he's a class act, and I'm not jumping all over Roger Ailes necessarily, although I don't think he was necessarily a great guy. I think Bill O'Reilly is a bit of a witch hunt, and I think that has something to do with what Roger Ailes set up there. The type of environment where so many people were at each other's throats all the time. Do you know what I thought when I saw the Roger Ailes death instantly? Now, I know that...
What's that?
I know I'm a conspiracy theorist. I know that I'm always got some sort of conspiracy. But what I thought... I'm not even saying I think this.
Not as big as Ed.
No, not as big a conspiracy theorist as Ed. But...
I'm sure Ed probably thought Hillary Clinton killed Roger Ailes. But
That's actually not what I'm saying. I'm actually not pulling the he was murdered thing at all here. But the first thing I thought was, if there was ever a person who had the means to do so and a reason to fake his own death
It's
and
Roger
go
Ailes.
just be rich somewhere, it would be Roger Ailes. Because he had this huge fall from grace. His name is Mud, because of a lot of this stuff. He's kind of lost his business. He's lost all this other stuff. And what I instantly thought was, and part of me is hoping, because I don't want to hear that people died, but I thought, if there's ever a guy who was going to fake his death, take 1/10 of his cash and just run away somewhere to hide out, spend out the rest of his days in a little oceanside bar in the Virgin Islands or something. It's Roger Ailes, because he had this, he had a crappy couple of years.
He did.
So that's kind of what I thought. I was like, I wonder if he really died. Or because wouldn't you want to do that?
He took take his $40 million severance and go home.
Right, okay, I got $40 million sitting here. I got another $70 million sitting in this account. If I take, if I scrape off $2 million from each one of my accounts and run off with 6 or 8 mil in cash and head to a tropical island somewhere and say my name is Joe Smith, that might be a better life. It might just be the way to finish out your existence.
Yeah, run out the clock.
Yeah, and that's what I'd want to do if I was him. Really, at this point in my life, I'd just be like, I think I'm just going to be, instead of the super rich, megalomaniac, if that's the correct word, I think I'm just going to be the really rich drunk guy at this beach bar in the Dominican Republic or something. That's just me. I always think about stuff like that, but maybe I'm wrong.
Do you really think that happened though?
No, I don't necessarily think that happened with him. I don't, but I just thought, I do think that people do that from time to time, and I thought and it's what I would want to do if I was in that situation. Although I would do it once I had $10 million in the bank and once I was 50 years old.
I don't know. Maybe that was the case though, because it's not like his death was actually kind of sudden. It seemed like
it was kind of sudden, and it's almost like you would choose that day to wait till a big star dies.
Oh, like Chris Cornell.
Yeah, and then pick that day.
So you think he was hey, Chris Cornell?
Like, he was just waiting.
He's probably like, who's Chris Cornell?
It's not like you.
And they're like, he's one of the he's a founding member. He's a founding father of the grunge movement.
He's like, oh, never heard of it. Okay, yeah, but that's, it's not like you have to wait long. Once you make the decision to do that, you say, I'm just gonna wait till the next big celebrity death. Yeah. Wait till, okay, that's all anyone's talking on the news, and I'm gonna die tonight. And
which, if you were 2016, that was like a daily occurrence.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's funny you say that about not talking ill of the dead or whatever. And I actually do think that's a classy thing we do in our society. But who was always hilarious about that?
Who's that?
One of the things that made the Deadcast so funny back in the Grouty days was Goof Juice, who, again, that was his podcast name then, Mike Janae, who you can still see Unsettled on the Screen live today with Nick and Mike. Maybe not today, but he's on twice a week usually. He's usually on Wednesdays and Fridays, but he skips around. But Janae was always hilarious about that on the Deadcast. I always loved it because he always seemed to be the one that when you were trying to talk good to the dead, if the guy was an asshole, he would always be like, "Oh, come on, stop it." I remember the Michael Jackson one where we were like, because I was trying to, as kind of the pseudo host, I guess, if you will, of Grouty, I was kind of trying to say well, hey, I know he had all these issues, but his music was awesome, all this stuff, and he was just like, dude, just stop it. The guy was a child rapist. Get over it, man.
That's Michael Jackson's career in a nutshell, though.
Right.
I mean, it didn't matter what that guy did or what he was accused of. What was Dave Chappelle's quote? He made Thriller.
And it is true. And, it's one of those things, though, if you think about it,
Yeah.
with like Michael Jackson's career, though, think about like the last 5 years of Michael Jackson's life. You didn't hear a Michael Jackson song on the radio.
No, you didn't.
I mean, people were kind of done with him, even though they admit, I still love that music. It was great stuff, and great singer, and maybe the
Horrible
best dancer that ever, one of the best dancers that ever lived, and just amazing performer. Freaking weirdo. In the bad way, not in the good kind of weird. I mean, just a terrible guy.
Like Prince was a weird guy,
Right?
But in a good way.
Yeah, he was. He was super quirky. He was weird. He was crazy, in a good way, though. He was just so artistic that he couldn't help himself. He was just. But Michael Jackson was he was a child rapist, not a nice person. Unless you, speaking of conspiracy theories, buy into that whole, he was ruined by the Illuminati idea. But I'm pretty sure Macaulay Culkin would tell you otherwise. But we digress big time. We're so off topic tonight, but it's just kind of nice to be back on a regular show with Adam. But we talked a ton of politics on this show.
Oh wait, are we going to be talking about careers that are ruined now? Is that
It wasn't
segue?
supposed to be a segue. It was supposed to just be we should maybe cover some of these topics we actually have, listed for coverage on the show. But we talked so much politics for a good year on this show, and I loved it. I loved doing it. I love talking politics. It's actually one of the reasons this show started because Nick and Adam and I were on the Majors Live, which is a great show. Very proud of it, and it's still a great show without us. But it was getting less and less about sports. So Adam had the idea to give us this show and put some people that actually talk about sports on the Majors Live, because it is supposed to be a sports show. But we talked a ton of politics, but I was trying to veer away from the politics aspect for a little while after the election, just because, one, I thought people were kind of sick of it, and two, I was trying to just give President Trump his 100 days and just kind of get through some of this stuff, because I hate when you just start ragging on a president right away when nothing's really happened yet. I feel like when the president's in there, whether he's your guy or not, you got to kind of give him some time to just do his thing. And yes, I did say the same thing when President Obama was elected. I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't vote for Trump. But now he's in there a little bit, and the left is pissed. I mean, whether they have a reason to be or not, the liberals were very butthurt after this election, and they still are to a lot of degree. And some of them were kind of sore losers. Not all of them. Some people just didn't vote that way. That's all right. I'm not prepared to say every single person on the left or every single liberal in America is a butthurt crybaby. But they do have their fair share of butthurt crybabies over there. But now that Trump's in there, I know, Adam, I know you can't stand Donald Trump. I know you don't like his politics. I know you don't like him. I know you don't like the Republican Party as a whole. But
hey, you said the Republican Party thing, not me.
Okay. But you're not, I'm not saying that you hate every Republican, but you're not a fan of the Republican Party, right?
I'm not a Republican.
Okay.
I will say that. Can I preface something here?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, please. I'm actually bringing it to you. I'm going to direct this question to you. So.
Oh, go ahead. Ask your question.
Yeah, but now that Donald's been in there for a while, is it that bad? I mean, is it what you... And hey, it could get worse, too. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying that people can't make a prediction that, no, it's going to be terrible in 4 years, or he's going to be bad in the long run, or great in the long run, or whatever. But we got him right now. Is it that bad? Has he done a specific thing that you just think is so terrible?
There's so much going on with him right now. Let me say this, and
Okay.
I know preface what I'm saying with it, because you brought up the Republican thing.
Sure.
I'm not a Republican. I don't like the GOP's politics. There's people within the GOP, though, that I can respect.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually quite a few people in the GOP that I can respect as individuals and what they've done and where they came from. A guy like John McCain. How can somebody not respect a guy like John McCain? You know, I know you're not a fan of John McCain. You're not a fan of his politics.
Yeah. Oh, it seems like there's more Republicans out there that hate John McCain at this point than there are Democrats.
Yeah, I mean the guy was a war hero.
He was.
I mean he spent however many years in a Vietnamese prison camp. How can you not respect a guy that goes through something like that?
And what I do find strange, and it's okay that if people do come to regret votes from time to time or say that they wouldn't do it again, but most of the people who are criticizing John McCain now, and I'm not a big John McCain fan, never have been, but most of the people criticizing him now voted for this guy for president of the United States.
Sure, yeah.
Most of the people, I voted for him for president of the United States. I didn't do it. I literally, people think I'm kidding when I say this. I went in there that day, voted for John McCain, and I plugged my nose as I was doing it. But it was like, oh God, I just can't. I was not a Barack Obama fan. Never was. Still am not. That being said, though, Barack Obama was president for 8 years, and we're still here. So, all you conservatives out there, all you Republicans, remember all the things you said. Barack Obama was president for 8 years, never impeached. He did everything he did. He was in control of the executive branch. You still have your guns.
Yes, you do.
We are not under Sharia law.
Nope.
There's it's over with. And he's running a shadow government. Maybe he is. I do think that there is some a shadow government aspect. I think the Bush family kind of runs a bit of a shadow government too. I think the Clinton family runs a little bit. I think they all kind of you have this power. It doesn't just go away overnight because you stop being president. I totally buy into this kind of shadow government idea to some degree, but come on, guys, it's over with. And I feel like I'll be saying that to the Democrats in a few years.
Or a year.
Yeah, when just saying like, hey, guys, Donald Trump is president. We haven't brought back slavery though. Okay,
but the thing is, like I said, I can respect a guy like John McCain. I could even respect a guy like George W. Bush. As much as I didn't like him, I can respect him for the way that he brought the country together after 9/11.
Right,
and that was it. Keep in mind, people too. He was 9 months into the job, less than 9 months into the job at that point, and he was stricken with the biggest crisis this country's ever seen since Pearl Harbor.
Pretty much.
I can even like your guy, Rand Paul. I can respect a guy like Rand Paul because I think in most sense, he's real to his politics.
Mm-hmm.
He's real to his agenda and what he wants to push. Like I said, I can respect something like that. And I can respect a guy like Rand Paul. Again, I don't agree with all of his politics, but I can respect that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I don't agree with anybody with all of anybody's politics.
Yeah.
Except my own.
I know people say you got to respect the office of the president. Look, I respected Barack Obama. I respected George W. Bush. I respected Bill Clinton. I guess I respected George H.W., but I was also really young then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't respect Donald Trump. I don't, and I'm sorry to anybody out there who I'm offending. Actually, I'm not sorry for saying it because Donald Trump, in this sense, right now, after everything that he's done as a person prior to his election, everything that came out, look, he's got to earn my respect at this point. He doesn't automatically get my respect just because he won a presidential election. He has to earn my respect.
I can see that, Adam. I do take a little bit of a different take on it. I did not vote for Donald Trump. If the election was tomorrow, I would not be voting for Donald Trump still. But I do kind of view it as a patriot, as an American. When someone becomes president, I do kind of view them as having a clean slate. Doesn't mean I'm not watching them. Doesn't mean that I don't, that I won't oppose them when necessary. But I really do believe that when we have a president of the United States, I view it as I will support them when I can. I will oppose them when I must. That's always been my philosophy. That was my philosophy with Barack Obama. Even though, I'll be honest with you, Barack Obama's politics scared the hell out of me. And Donald Trump's did too, to some degree, in a different way. Donald Trump's did. What's kind of funny is, like, you talk about respect when you talk about presidents after the fact. I have a ton of respect for the Bush family. I think they're good people. I think they're patriots. I disagree with them a lot on a lot of things. I don't respect Bill Clinton because of the way he acted as president. I don't respect how much he lied to the American people. I don't respect things he did within the Oval Office. I actually, believe it or not, I know this is going to shock people and piss a lot of people off. I actually have a lot more respect for Barack Obama than I do for Bill Clinton. As a man,
I'm not shocked.
Politics wise, Obama's politics scared me way more than Clinton's did. In fact, I don't even think he was that bad of a president. I actually think he was, in some things, he did. I made more money when Bill Clinton was president than I ever made. Now, when I was a kid. I was a kid and I was making a ton of money. The economy was booming. He was part of that's luck. Part of that's luck. Part of that's him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did. Yeah.
That's because when it comes to the economy, the president has the quarterback syndrome.
The biggest crisis that Bill Clinton had to deal with was what was going on in Bosnia at the time. Yeah,
right.
And Somalia too.
Right. I mean, and those were a big deal over there. Were they really a big deal here? No, they really weren't.
You didn't have to deal with Bosnian terrorists.
No, you really didn't.
Going to the United Kingdom.
No, that one didn't hit close to home. Yeah. It was a crisis. It sucked for them.
It was a crisis,
But really though, I mean, that is something that I feel like always needs to be said, is that when it comes to the economy, the president has the quarterback syndrome. They get undue credit and undue criticism for what happens with the economy, when truly the system is cyclical and it comes back around. And,
sure it is.
And does it. But he did well, and that's something that I've said about Donald Trump. I don't really like the guy. I don't like him. I couldn't bring myself to vote for him because of things he said, things he did. But if this guy is going to be president and he's going to make the claims he's made, albeit outrageous claims at times, if he's going to make those claims, he better have results when it comes to the economy. People better be making more money. We better be having jobs. And I don't want to hear about how the president doesn't affect the economy that directly, even though I firmly believe the president doesn't affect the economy that directly. But with him in there, he better.
You know what though? That's what you're going to hear with him, because that's all you hear about now. You hear about deflection. You hear about, oh well, it's not Donald Trump's fault, it's somebody else's fault, and that's what you're going to continue to hear with this guy. If something comes out and they don't like it, oh well, it's fake news.
Sure.
That's not true. It's fake news.
I think both sides do that.
It's mainstream media trying to bring us down, or that's Barack Obama's fault. It's Barack Obama's administration's fault. It's them, not us.
Right.
And that's what we constantly hear with it.
I was so sick of hearing, when Obama was president, I was so sick of hearing Barack Obama himself and the left and the media constantly blaming everything on George W. Bush. I was so sick of it. And I know the Republicans were so sick of it. And I know the people that voted for Donald Trump were so sick of it. Yet Donald Trump becomes president, and you see the exact same thing happening. Everything's Obama's fault. Now, Donald Trump isn't a guy like George W. Bush.
But keep in mind, though, Josh, one thing. The economy was in the shitter, though, when Obama took office.
That's fine. Yeah,
I just want to throw that out.
So, but now he's the president. He was president for 8 years. It's like the max.
Sure.
So I mean, you're talking year 6 in his administration, and he's blaming George W. Bush for stuff. not cool.
No,
Sorry.
I know.
I don't care if you followed the worst president in the world. It's still.
I agree. At that point, you shouldn't be bitching about the prior administration, because at year 6, the prior administration was you.
Right. Exactly. And even in year 3, I mean, what have you been doing? Well, a lot of presidents are only president for 4 years. You don't get to blame the previous one. But Donald Trump was different, right? Donald Trump came in, he made all these claims. People said, I don't care if he says mean things. Okay. I kind of did care that he said mean things, but it is true, sticks and stones, all that stuff. It's just words, not actions. I get all that stuff. I do get it. But when you make claims like that, you can't blame the previous administration. When you're a guy like Donald Trump, you can't blame Barack Obama. You can't blame corrupt politicians. You can't blame Congress. You can't blame people for not getting stuff done because he was going to drain the swamp. It didn't matter if you're Donald Trump. He was going to do it all by himself. Remember? This is what he told us. So, and hey, he might still. It is way, way, way too early in the Trump administration to be calling him a success or a failure. We have no idea. But he better get it done. No excuses. Whatever he's claiming, he better get it done. It's just not right. You know, he's going to drain the swamp. Can't blame, but there's corrupt politicians in Washington, and the Republicans are stopping this, and the Democrats are doing this. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's going to drain the swamp. Other thing is, he says dumb things. People say, he's not a politician. He's not a politician. It's different. He's not a politician.
Doesn't
Wrong.
matter.
Wrong. He wasn't a politician. He ran for president of the United States successfully, and now is president of the United States. He is a politician now. So you can't use that excuse that he's not a politician. He wasn't a politician. Now he is. He said he was qualified for the job because of his business experience. So that means you have to skip out. This is no different than if you put your left fielder at shortstop in baseball because you say, no, I know he's never played shortstop. I know it's a different position, but he's an amazing athlete. He's good enough to play the position. He's going to be great at it. He's going to be the best shortstop ever. And you put him at shortstop and he sucks, and then you constantly say, well, he's not a shortstop. No, he is a shortstop now. You made him a shortstop. He does play that position now. It's the same thing with Donald Trump. You can't go around saying, well, he's not a politician. No, he is a politician now. He is the politician. He is president of the United States, of the most powerful country in the world. He is a politician. He's a leader. He better act like it.
The thing is, too, Josh, is like you're using a sports acronym, right? Analogy, excuse me, not acronym, analogy. And I'm going to use a different one. If he doesn't get a pass because he's a rookie. You don't get a pass when you're a rookie as a president.
No.
America isn't a team that's, rebuilding and they can afford, these rookie mistakes at the most important position on Team USA.
Right.
I believe it was Lindsey Graham during one of the debates that said the office of President of the United States isn't an entry-level job.
Yeah, and no, he got a lot of crap for that, and I agreed with them then, and I agree with him now.
Yeah, this isn't something where you go into it and, that's okay, he's just learning his job. Because that mistake that you make can cost millions of people jobs,
lives,
exactly,
and, any number of things. And hey, when I've made that argument in the past, that I don't view this as an entry level position. I believe that you should have somebody in there who has some presidential timber, as they used to call it in the old days. Governors, senators, top congressmen, mayors of big cities. Yeah, when I say that, I'm not saying that I think Donald Trump or Mark Cuban or Kanye West or anybody else should be disqualified from being president. Because people always say, hey, it's supposed to be a citizen government. Josh, you say you love the Constitution. It's supposed to be a citizen government. Yes. I'm not saying that they should be disqualified from doing it. anyone can run for president, but I don't want to vote for somebody who doesn't have some of that stuff. If you need it on the job training, then run for Congress first. I get it. You say, hey, I'm qualified to run this. I've run huge businesses. I'm a brilliant businessman. I know how to run things. That's great. I'm qualified for president just simply on it. That's fine. That's the case. Run for Congress for 2 years. Show us what's up. And then be president.
In Donald Trump's case, though, would be too old. Not to run for Congress, but
well, if he started sooner.
Yes.
You can run for Senate too. You don't have to finish your Senate term, i.e., Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Run for Senate, run for governor of New York, kick some ass, and then run for president. That's kind of my thing. But people disagree, and that's fine. It is fine. I don't care. I'm not saying that you should be disqualified from the position because you don't have those things. I personally like to see somebody with some political experience. I actually like to see them have. I'd rather have a businessman, people say. Personally, I'd like them to be a businessman, a politician. I want them to actually be all those things. I want to click all of the above when talking about who I'm running, who I'm voting for president.
Well, it makes a lot of sense because when you're president of the United States, you're dealing in all these different infrastructures within the country.
Sure,
you're not just dealing with economics or healthcare or jobs or foreign policy. You're dealing with all of it at the same time.
Right.
And look, Donald Trump, I hesitate in some ways to say he was a brilliant businessman, and I know you have your comebacks on that.
Mm-hmm.
That says maybe he wasn't the best businessman, but for everything that people got on Barack Obama about when it came to his experience, it was totally glossed over when it came to a guy like Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
Because when you talk about no experience in government, in running, in running, being a public servant, Donald Trump and Barack Obama weren't comparable. They weren't parallel to each other. Even if Barack Obama, even when he was a junior senator from Illinois, you just couldn't compare it. You couldn't compare the two. And I don't know. I don't think you mentioned earlier that we're all still here with after Barack Obama's 8 years, and that's absolutely true. I mean, like you said, you're a gun owner yourself. You still have your guns. Barack Obama didn't take away anybody's guns, and ultimately, I don't think that Donald Trump is going to. I don't think after 4 years, or if Donald Trump ends up staying on for 8 years, I don't think America is going to be gone after that. Because, and I think Donald Trump's getting a lesson in this right now as we speak, that the separation of powers in the United States is real and they work.
For now, thank God.
Yes.
I agree with some of the stuff you just said, Adam. And the thing is,
you should agree with all of it, but go ahead.
Well, okay. The thing, no, I don't. That's baby steps. The thing is that I don't think Barack Obama was good presidential timber, and I don't think Donald Trump was good presidential timber. And some of the main reasons I think that is, I feel like they both had the base qualifications and none of the other ones. And that's, Barack Obama didn't have any experience in anything, but at least he was a senator, though. You can't. When people said at the time, "Oh, Barack Obama's not qualified to be president," I was like, okay. In my opinion, you can't say that the senator, not congressman, senator, from the 7th biggest state in the union isn't qualified to be president. I mean, as it goes, there are 150 people at all times who are always immediately qualified to be president. That's our 50 governors and our 100 senators. Those people are, just in the most basic way, automatically qualified to be president of the United States. There's others as well. You could lump Donald Trump in there. You know, big businessmen, congressmen, mayors, former cabinet position. You know, former cabinet members. Sure, yeah, they all are. But what scares me about the Obama-Trump transition is it scares me for the future. See, the thing is, when Barack Obama was president, is you had this guy who's an extremely polarizing figure. Half the country loved him, half the country hated him. He never in those 8 years did anything to become president of all the people. He was president of those people that loved him, and those people that hated him, he seemed to go out of his way to piss them off. Now, Barack Obama's 8 years are up. We do a swing, and now we have the opposite. Those people that hated Barack Obama, now they have their guy that they love. He's just as polarizing. He's just as hated by the other side. To me, Donald Trump and Barack Obama, though diametrically opposed in so many ways, in other ways, they're the exact same person. They're the exact same person. They are literally, they're just polar opposites. They're like the Polaroid to the negative. They are just the complete backswing to that. What scares me about that is that was something that didn't used to happen with presidents. They used to become president and then genuinely try to be president of the people. So what this will be is in 4 to 8 years, we're going to get somebody who's even further to the left than Barack Obama was. Because we're going to have to go even further than Trump. And then who do we get to the right after that guy? And then who do we get to the left after that guy? This is what scares me.
It's an interesting theory.
This is what bothers me, is that people were so pissed off with Barack Obama that they would have voted for any guy who claimed to be on the right and who was just a big time nationalist and a big time, I mean, I don't like to throw out the word fascist because it has this like undertone. I'm not calling Donald Trump a fascist, but in the actual base ideology of fascism, to just say that fascism is extreme nationalism as communism is extreme socialism, Donald Trump kind of is a fascist. That's not calling him a Nazi, by the way. All right, that's not.
No, it's not.
It's not calling him that at all. A fascist and a Nazi are two very different things. But in the Franco Francesco version of fascism, so let's call it extreme nationalism instead, because that's what Donald Trump is extreme nationalist, because he's not a conservative. I mean, people do realize that, right? I mean, if conservative-minded people,
he's not even a small government guy.
He's certainly not a small government.
I mean,
guy.
he said it himself. I mean, you go back and you listen to his speech at the Republican convention.
Right.
That the word alone, I alone can fix it.
Sure.
I mean, can you picture Rand Paul going up there and saying something like that?
No, I can't. Well, and hey, I will say this too. In defense of the Republican Party, I guess this is a defense. It's also a criticism. But in defense of the Republican Party, I'm a small government guy. Okay, I'm a very small government guy. I'm a libertarian.
Small L.
Yeah, small L libertarian. I'm a very small government person. I want government so small you can barely see it. To quote Rand Paul. To me, government is a necessary evil, and it should fear its people. People should not fear its government. But with that being so, because of that, small government guys like me tend to, although they don't like it always, they tend to gravitate more towards the Republican Party because at least there is a small government wing of the Republican Party, where small government waved bye-bye to the Democrats a long time ago. I mean, not since JFK has that even been approached or thought of by the Democratic Party. But the Republican Party, in its creation and to its present day, it's technically never been a conservative party.
No,
It's technically never been a small government party. That's not what it was for.
You've mentioned that before.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what it was for, then or ever. Not when the Republican Party was initially formed to combat slavery, nor, when it was there all the things the Republican Party has done over the years. It's never been a small government party. It's never been a conservative party. Conservatives and small government-minded people tend to gravitate towards it because there's only 2 games in town here. There's only 2 to choose from, is what the vast majority of Americans think. And perhaps they're right, obviously, judging by Jill Stein and Gary Johnson's numbers. That there really is only 2. I mean, I like to think there's more because I voted for Gary Johnson, but I'm the only one, evidently.
Hey, you had a good outline out there for. Look, if you were their campaign manager, I'm confident that they would have done better.
Thank you. I take that as a huge compliment.
It is a compliment.
They did it wrong. No strategy whatsoever.
No,
you can't be a third party and try to run like
try to run a 50-state campaign.
Yeah, you can't do it. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, which is what they tried to do.
And they were ignorant for trying. And my plan would have involved not only Gary Johnson doing it, but in essence for him to have been in league with Jill Stein and McMullen.
Do you think
if some of these other characters involved here?
Do you think if McMullen got in the race earlier, he would have done better?
Maybe.
Is he a guy you could have gotten behind?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because I know Shannon was who was on our election show.
Sure.
Voted for him.
Yes. No, I mean, and she's an example of somebody who's a very conservative person who still can't get on board with the Donald Trump thing. She's still a big Trump hater.
Shannon definitely not a Trump supporter.
The only thing I do think I could have got behind McMullen. In fact, I think I actually maybe liked McMullen more than I liked Gary Johnson, even though I voted for Gary Johnson. But Gary Johnson was actually running a 50-state campaign, which you do have to do in theory, but you just have to ignore like 45 of the states. Is in essence what you have to do. You do have to be on the ballot in all the states. McMullen wasn't even that, so I didn't.
I'm guessing he might run again, though.
He might.
Who knows? Maybe he'll primary Donald Trump here.
It could happen. The one thing I will say though about this, I mean, do I think McMullen, if he got in the race earlier, to answer your question, could he have done better? Perhaps, but I'm not really sure. Just because, as it turns out, these numbers that we thought we had for Jill Stein, these numbers we thought we had for Gary Johnson, these numbers they thought we had for McMullen, as it turns out, they were junk.
Yeah,
they didn't come through.
They were talking McMullen was going to take Utah.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, in the 11th hour, did snatch up most of those votes. And there's a whole bunch of people out there, and hey, you don't have to tell me who you voted for, but there's a whole bunch of people out there who are claiming that they were going to vote for Gary Johnson or Jill Stein, or who claim that they voted for Gary Johnson or Jill Stein, who must be full of crap. I mean, let's be honest. Either they're lying to us about the numbers, which in this particular case, I'm big into the government's lying to us, but in this particular case, I don't think they are. Either the numbers are wrong, or these people who claimed to be voting for Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, they're full of crap. They didn't. They got in the voting booth and they voted for either Trump or Hillary because.
You think Nick voted for Jill Stein?
He says he voted for Jill Stein. Yeah, I believe him. I mean, there isn't any individual who I don't necessarily believe.
And I blame him for Donald Trump being president.
And hey, there will never be a point where I will criticize Trump to the point that I will have wanted Hillary Clinton to be president. I will say that, but I'm not. I was just so unhappy with those choices.
I'll tell you what, though, and I know, and you had every reason to be.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't happy with those choices.
I don't think anybody was.
But
I shouldn't say it. Some people were,
but
very few.
But come on, people. I think people need to be real with themselves out there right now. Anybody out there supporting Donald Trump in everything that is going on right now, whether it's his conflict of interest, and I'll tell you this right now, Josh. I think aside from the very obvious when it comes to Barack Obama and Donald Trump, because in some sense I will agree with you when it comes to reaching across the aisle. I don't think Barack Obama was incredibly good at that. Just like Donald Trump hasn't been good at all when it comes to reaching across the aisle. I mean, he was the one that said go nuclear to get his Supreme Court justice, verified or passed through the Senate. But where was I going with this? When it comes to Barack Obama and Donald Trump, I think one of the biggest difference between those two guys is, and again, you're gonna disagree with me, and that's fine. And a lot of people out there may disagree with me too. I think Barack Obama was doing what he thought was best for the country. I don't think Donald Trump is doing that. I don't think Donald Trump sitting there right now in the Oval Office, I don't think he thinks or whatever he's doing what's best for him and his company still. He's not doing what's best for the United States. He's not doing what's best for you or what's best for me or what's best for, as much as Rudy has a boner for him, for Rudy or anybody. He's doing what's best for Donald Trump.
I don't disagree with that part of it. I disagree with your first part, though. Because Barack Obama wasn't doing what was best for the country. Barack Obama was doing what was best. I think they actually both have the same, air quotes here, good intentions, But Barack Obama wasn't doing what was best for the country. He was doing what was best for his ideology. And part of his ideology actually demands a bringing down of the country.
But you see what I disagree with that. I think in a lot of ways presidents do get behind their ideology, and it's real. I think it was real for Barack Obama. I don't think Donald Trump's ideology is real for him. I still don't think it is.
Well, I don't think he does it for an ideology either. I think he does it for himself, I think he wants the country to be powerful because that benefits him.
I think if the country isn't powerful, but he still is, and the Trump organization still is, I think he will be happy with that. I think he will be good with that.
I don't doubt that. I don't disagree with that. But the only part you said that I disagreed with was that the Obama part. And
I figured, yeah. and I figured you would. And I'm not gonna like you're.
Look at somebody like Bill Clinton, for instance. Okay. I feel like Bill Clinton, who was the perennial pragmatist, and I'm not a fan of pragmatism at all, but that's what he was.
Let's get on board with whatever's popular.
Yeah, and just, pragmatism is the art of doing what works. Whatever works in that situation is what you do. Everyone must have some degree of pragmatism if they're going to be a logical-minded person living in the real world. But pragmatism as a base ideology, I'm not a fan.
No, and it's part of being president. You see it all the time in the primaries. They try to, sure. they're trying to appeal to, the right wing, the right side of the spectrum. Whereas when the general comes around, they try to.
You got to get towards the middle.
Yeah, you got to get towards the middle. You got to try to get voters from both sides.
Right. The thing is with Clinton, though, what I was trying to say was that Bill Clinton, to me, is a complete narcissist, and the only thing Bill Clinton cared about was himself and his legacy. The good side of that is that if you're going to care about nothing but your legacy, then you have to do a good job. So his ill intentions were on the same page as the country's. So that's okay, I guess. I mean, in this strange kind of way. Again, I could stand Bill Clinton. I still can't. The Clinton family, to me, is actually evil. But with Bill Clinton, I don't think he was driven by ideology at all. Where Barack Obama, I think, truly is a true believer in his ideology. And I think his ideology is dangerous. Bill Clinton just wanted everyone to love him. That's it. So if you want everyone to love you, you have to do a good job. So I think he wanted to do a good job, and because of that, wanted what was best for the country. I think it was probably for selfish reasons. But hey, that's better than what we got here, because with Obama or with Trump, because I do think that they have an agenda that isn't on par with a great future for the country.
I'm not going to argue any of those points with you, Jeff. I've known you long enough to know that there's not going to be any change. I'm not going to change your mind. You're not going to change my mind,
Right.
And that's why, in a lot of sense, that arguing politics is stupid.
Sure.
Unless you're running for office, then it's in large part stupid. But and like I can respect your opinion on a lot of things. I think you're up on your knowledge when it comes to that stuff. I think you're excellent when it comes to the Constitution, and like I said, I respect your positions on that. But when you're looking at Donald Trump too and Hillary Clinton, no Trump supporter will ever go out there and play to this or admit that they're a hypocrite or anything like that. Just imagine though, Josh. Imagine this. Imagine if Hillary Clinton won.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if Hillary Clinton won the election and she was the one that had all these tremendous, Donald Trump word, conflicts of interest. What she did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not,
Oh,
in the Clinton Foundation, in many ways, was a conflict of interest.
She's the most corrupt person ever saved the office.
And well, I will make the argument that Donald Trump is now worse.
Well, he hasn't.
Who won the office?
He hasn't. Well, yeah. The thing is that Donald Trump isn't anywhere near as corrupt as Hillary, because Donald Trump had zero political experience. So how can you be? He has never had an opportunity to be corrupt.
But look at it. Like, I mean, the ties to Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them have it.
Right.
Both of them do.
So
whether
the
it
Bush
was
family.
Whether it was Clinton through the Clinton Foundation or Donald Trump through the Trump Organization.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine if it was Hillary Clinton with all these ties to Russia. Imagine if it was Hillary Clinton and going and asking, James Comey to drop an investigation into Huma Abedin because of her alleged ties to the Kremlin, or that Huma Abedin had to register as a foreign agent, or that John Podesta had to go and register as a foreign agent, or had all these undisclosed meetings with Russian diplomats and Russian spies. And
you're right. The other side would be all over it.
Oh, they would be all over it. Hillary Clinton, the impeachment trials would already be starting right now.
I don't think that's true, but
They would be working towards them.
Well, and there's people working towards it for Trump too. So
true.
That's always there. Unfortunately, that's always there. The one thing.
But Jesus, I mean, look at, we're sitting here talking about emails and everything, and everybody was ragging on Hillary Clinton about her emails and being investigated by the FBI. You look at Trump now, and it's the same thing plus. And who knows? Maybe if Hillary Clinton, more stuff would have come out. But that's not the case anymore.
No, Adam, I actually see your point. I do. I completely see your point, and it's, we mentioned when we got on this topic that we haven't really talked much politics since Trump's been elected,
and it's all
since the election.
Now.
Well, not all of it. We'll have plenty more to talk about too. But and as more things develop. But the one time we did, if you recall, a couple months ago, we talked about, the topic I wanted to cover was the hypocrisy within the two parties. And I feel like the point you're making is the exact point I was making then. This blatant hypocrisy, this idea that now all of a sudden, now all of a sudden Republicans like executive orders.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
Now all of a sudden Democrats don't like executive orders. They loved them for 8 years. But now all of a sudden, Democrats like the Constitution. Give me a break. Give me a break. Now all of a sudden Republicans don't mind if someone sidesteps the Constitution a little bit to get something done, as long as it's making America great again.
I gotta check the executive order count here. Go on.
Hey, I said before too, though. It's not the number of executive orders. It's the content. But I don't like executive orders.
No, you did say the only type of executive orders you like that they mostly deal with military cases military cases. Because the president is the
not all executive orders are unconstitutional. They're not. And to me, when it comes to the military, they're really technically never unconstitutional. I shouldn't say never because, a declaration of war is supposed to come through Congress. It doesn't anymore for whatever reason.
When's the last time we declared war on anyone?
World War II.
When was the last time?
Yeah, World War II was... Think about it when you were a kid growing up, they say, well, Korea and Vietnam weren't technically wars, they were police actions because they didn't declare. They don't even bother to say that anymore because we've been in so many wars that weren't declared by Congress that they don't even bother to say that anymore. Now war is just war. Again, which it should have been, because guess what? Korea and Vietnam were wars too. But you already knew that, though. For everyone out there listening, already knew that. But I find this to be garbage. I do. War should be declared by Congress. But with that being said, when it comes to executive orders based on the military, the president is the commander-in-chief of the military.
You make a good point about that.
Right. That is very constitutional.
Like I said, I can respect your takes on the Constitution.
Yeah. No, thank you. But that's...
Except when it comes to your side abolishing the first one and putting everything in the second one. Sorry.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. That's just another thing too that bugs me is they wanna do everything they can to silence the first one, but the second one, don't touch my guns.
I don't think people want that. I don't. I think the First Amendment is very important.
No, I think it is too.
I believe it is the leftist universities and educational institutions that are the biggest threat against the First Amendment.
I can't say that I agree with a lot of those takes. I certainly don't agree. Look, if you want to protest a speaker, then by all means protest a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
But don't engage in violence. Don't engage in destroying other people's property just because you don't like Ann Coulter coming to speak at your university.
The only spot in the country where free speech is actually being threatened and where people have actually been arrested for speech is on our universities, on our campuses. This has happened. That is a direct violation of the First Amendment, and quite frankly, it's the only one out there. Another thing that's in the First Amendment, all lumped in there together because it's all the same, is freedom of religion. And that's being stifled, even by the candidate of the Libertarian Party, Gary Johnson, who basically says that he believes if you have to make as many cupcakes as you want for a wedding, no matter whether you agree with it or not. That's hurting the First Amendment too, big time. That's going against the First Amendment. Part of the First Amendment is you're not necessarily gifted a platform to have your views or to have your point of view spoken, but you aren't supposed to be silenced.
But and on that note, and again, I see your point when it comes to the cupcake thing. And there's a solution to that. Just go find somebody else to make your cupcakes.
Right.
But when it comes,
you have a constitutional right to freedom of religion. You don't have a constitutional right to wedding cakes.
But when it comes to when we're talking the Constitution, and I know you're not a fan of government getting involved in marriage, which, you know what, this isn't the argument here.
No, it's not.
Government is involved in marriage, and that's the way it is.
Right, and just like if you've ever heard me say that I oppose gay marriage, it's only because I oppose straight marriage.
Sure.
Government involvement in marriage, not in any relationship that anyone wishes to have.
But when we had that kooky lady down in, where was it, Kim Davis or something like that, people were screaming freedom of religion there. Oh, shouldn't she have the freedom to express her religion, or live out her religion even in her career? Well, no,
she doesn't. No, again, just like mentioned before, you have a constitutional right to free speech. You have a constitutional right to freedom of religion. You do not have a constitutional right to a job. You don't. No. There's nowhere in the Constitution does it say that you have the right to a job. So if you are purposely not doing your job, then you should be fired, regardless of what that job is. That's the truth. I was not on board with the Kim Davis thing, and although I was a supporter of Mike Huckabee in the past, I voted for him in not in the most recent primary, but I was a supporter of. He was totally off on that issue. He was totally off.
God help us! God help us, Jesus! God and baby Jesus!
Is that Mike Huckabee?
It may as well be. Maybe it's Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Man, we have somebody. I don't know if she's railing against me. She probably is, but Lisa on Facebook right now. Again, the left only uses religion when it suits them. Kim Davis. The left wants to silence people on the First Amendment and the First when they don't like your opposing view. Donald Trump fake news. Plus what? Hillary would be way worse. Emails are just the tip. And if Hillary was POTUS, nobody would be doing squat to impeach her. I disagree, especially with Republican-led Congress. And you may be right about the tip of the iceberg thing with Hillary, but the fact of the matter is Hillary Clinton's president. Donald Trump's president.
To the person on the chat on Facebook.
Thanks for listening, by the way.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for jumping in on the chat. But I actually agree with you. I think Hillary would be worse. But
and I disagree. But go ahead.
And we know you do. I think Hillary would be worse, but Hillary Clinton being worse than Donald Trump is not an argument for Donald Trump being good. It's not.
No.
Just like it wasn't an excuse. I couldn't get behind that excuse to vote for Donald Trump.
It's not even an argument that should be had now because Hillary Clinton is not president.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned butthurt liberals earlier. Hillary lost. Okay, so Hillary's gone. She never needs to be mentioned again, except from a history standpoint. That's it. She was First Lady of the United States. She was Senator from New York. She was Secretary of State. She is now retired. She's a retired statesman. She ran for president twice. She lost both times. Hillary Clinton is done. The fact whether or not Hillary Clinton would have been 100 times worse than Donald Trump, or whether she would have been the best president ever, is totally irrelevant.
It is.
She's not president.
I will, again, no arguments from neither.
Maybe she will be someday. Highly unlikely, though. She's an old woman now.
Are you hearing the stuff about Joe Biden getting into it?
Yeah, they're saying Joe Biden's going to run.
I cannot.
I think it's nuts.
I guess I'll believe it when I see it. I can't.
I don't understand why Joe Biden did not run for president.
I think he might win if he decides.
Oh, I think he would have won last time. I don't think he will now.
You don't think he'll win now?
No, I don't. He will. He's going to be a very old man when he is, when he goes for, I guess technically if he ran against Trump in 4 years, for that election in the 2020 election, well, him and Trump are the same age technically, but Biden's done.
Are they the same age?
I think Biden's a little older. But he won't be so much older that he won't I guess running for your first term when you're 70 and running for your first term when you're 74 are two different things. They just are. Every year really counts then.
Joe Biden is 74.
He's 74 now.
74 now.
So he'll be 78.
He'll be
way too old. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Hard to believe that something like that would happen.
No, okay. So he's actually 4 years older than Donald Trump. No, not gonna happen. No, he's there's no way. Zero chance that's going to happen. So if you are a Joe Biden lover, if you're a Joe Biden hater, I'm telling you now, it doesn't matter.
And they don't run an election too if Donald Trump ends up getting impeached.
No. And then the next presidential election is in 2020.
Who takes over if Donald Trump's impeached?
Vice President Mike Pence.
Because
only if he's removed from office, not if he's impeached. Remember, Bill Clinton was impeached.
But
if you're removed from office, the just like
vice president doesn't get. Because
vice president can get impeaced too.
Isn't there wording in there somewhere that the administration gets removed?
No,
not
at all. No, I mean, just when Nixon stepped down, Gerald Ford became president.
Yeah, but Nixon wasn't removed from office though.
Correct, but it wouldn't have mattered if he was. Gerald Ford was president. Keep in mind, too, Gerald Ford was not elected to president or vice president ever. He was appointed vice president after Spiro T. Agnew resigned from a completely different, a completely different scandal. And many people forget about this. Richard Nixon won election with the Nixon-Agnew ticket won. The Nixon-Agnew ticket won re-election, even though Agnew had a scandal going. Agnew stepped down as vice president. Gerald Ford was appointed vice president by Richard Nixon, who then resigned, and Gerald Ford became president. I mean, but elected to neither of those positions. But no, it is always the vice president gets in. Even if you knew that the president and the vice president were absolute buddies in a scandal and they did it together, when you remove the president from office, you would then have to go through the entire procedure again, impeach the new president, and remove the new president.
Are you looking forward to Thursday, the Comey testimony?
Yeah, I don't care that much.
I don't care.
Well, I kind of don't get the Comey thing, to be perfectly clear. I don't think it was right the way Trump fired him. I think it was kind of strange, but people get fired. People act like it's just this terribly unprecedented thing that the president fired somebody who was that. I mean, it's his job to fire him. It's like he fired Congress. It's like he fired the governor of Massachusetts or something. He didn't fire an elected official. He fired somebody who works under him. And what I find is funny is, okay, I get what the Democrats were trying to do, but the Democrats said, well, we're going to blockade. We're going to blockade and make sure that Trump doesn't get to appoint a new head of the FBI. So what? It doesn't matter. I mean, the FBI is still running. There's a temporary head of the FBI right now who is running things. I'm sure he's very qualified for the position and is probably doing a decent job. But if Donald Trump doesn't like who the interim head of the FBI is, he can fire him too as president of the United States. And he can keep firing whoever takes over until he finds somebody he likes to be interim head of the FBI. So all that's doing is taking one less overpaid bureaucrat out of Washington. I mean, so the idea that they're going to blockade it, it's like, go ahead. It's worthless. It's accomplishing nothing. But that's just coming from a libertarian guy like me who thinks there's too many of these dumb organizations anyway. So it's silly because they're not technically taking any power away from Donald Trump by blockading the appointment of a new head of the FBI. Is my only point.
Well, they didn't have the opportunity because nobody has been named.
Right.
So,
But it's just it's
amazing too the amount of vacancies that are still
and
out there.
That's been true for 20 years now. Just vacancies in government, the judges are, it's a travesty. But that's what happens when you make government too big. I'm sorry, it is. It's I think it's crap that these things aren't filled. I mean, to me, something that should be appointed, if it's empty, it should be appointed tomorrow. I don't get it. I don't. There's a lot of politics being played, and they both do it, and that's what's annoying to me is that everyone thinks that playing politics is evil when the other side does it, and everyone is okay with it when their own side does it.
Well,
and it's just this huge gap. On Memorial Day this year, I just kind of posted on Facebook for fun, not through any of our
I saw it
forms of media, but I just said, hey, is patriotism, does it still exist in this country at all, or do people have, or are they just loyal to their side? And believe it or not, I actually got some people who are honest enough. I really respect these people. I actually had a few people who are honest enough to admit that, no, I'm not patriotic for the country. I'm patriotic for my ideology. I'm patriotic for my side. And the way I laid it down was, you still love your spouse when they do something to piss you off.
Mm-hmm.
You still love your children when they do something to disappoint you. You still love your dog when it craps on the rug. Do you still love your country when the other party's in power? That, to me, is the question when it comes to patriotism. And personally, in this country, I think it's dead. I think it's dead. And I don't necessarily think we're going to recover from it. Europe certainly is not going to recover from it.
Nice segue.
I think Europe is. I think Europe's done. I really do. I mean, at this point, with everything that's going on in Europe, I feel terrible for the Europeans. But are they going to do anything about it ever? At any point? And you can make the argument if you want. Anyone can. You make the argument that there's nothing to be done. But that's fine, I guess.
What do you think needs to be done?
I think they need to go to war.
With who?
Well, you could call it radical Islam. You could call it, you can name countries if you want. Whether it's these countries that support this, or even if it's not, they need to.
So do you think you're going to need to go to war as the European Union?
Well, I think the European Union as a whole is what has destroyed Europe. I mean,
in a sense, though, aren't they already in I guess a sort of war against?
Kind of, just like the U.S. is kind of,
But how do you go to war against an ideology, though?
Oh, you can. We did it in World War II.
It's fascism.
Yeah.
But there was a country to go to war against.
There's a whole bunch of countries to go to war with here. You take the fighting to their front.
Yes, and the fighting is already in their backyard. But when you're talking about an ideology, I mean, again, what happened in London, what happened in Manchester. Some of these guys were already citizens of those respective countries.
True.
What happened in the United States with Orlando, I think, was the last big one.
Do you know how you don't fix it? You don't fix it by having a candlelight vigil. You don't fix it by giving speeches saying, well, love will triumph hate. No, it won't. No, it won't. That sounds really sweet to say that love will triumph hate, but it won't. And you don't win it. You certainly don't win it by being the mayor or the minister of parliament from that specific district and saying, well, this is just part of our life now. If that is the position you're going to take, then you have lost.
Well, the problem is you're not going to beat an ideology by dropping bombs.
You're not?
No, you're not. Not in this case.
I think you can.
Because if you're dropping bombs, you're going to be dropping bombs on allies of yours. There's because this ideology, it transcends to many different countries, and in some of those countries are allies of the United States. They're allies of NATO.
But they shouldn't.
Well,
I guess
some can. I mean, do you think there's extremists in Jordan?
very few.
Well,
That's no. I think there
are there extremists in Israel right now? Probably. Are there extremists in?
Do you mean Muslim extremists in Israel, or
I guess,
or Jewish extremists?
Well, there's both. I guess there's a rhetorical question, but
I guess that's the. Yeah, and I don't. Because
bottom line, there's extremists in France. There's extremists in the United Kingdom. I know there's extremists in Donald Trump's new favorite country, Russia. There's extremists all over the world.
Yeah, but they're not openly declaring war on countries and other religions and other people.
Again,
and a complete Western culture. I mean, if there's Jewish extremists somewhere, that's fine, but they're not blowing stuff up.
No,
so
you're right. Good. They're not. But how do you identify who to bomb in these different countries though? Even if
I don't know, but you could start trying. You could start trying to identify that. You know, I mean, you can make the effort to do something about it.
But in
Europe, they're making no effort.
But doesn't that end up just making things worse for yourself though?
No, I don't think so.
Doesn't that go and reinforce that ideology of theirs that the West hates all Muslims and look what they're doing? They're going and bombing.
No, because they actually their ideology believes that the West is weak, that they need to be destroyed.
I believe they need to be. I believe they think that the West needs to be destroyed. I don't know necessarily if they think that they're weak.
Oh, they do. That's part of it. I mean that's teachings of the Quran is to back the strong horse. No, I mean they believe that the reason they hate us so much is because we don't do anything, because we don't fight back, because we are weak and our faiths and our cultures are bankrupt and weak.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. I don't think that's the case.
I don't know. If someone thinks you're a jerk and they're going to firebomb your house every night, you don't stop them from firebombing your house by being nice to them. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't get it. That's not how you do it. You could make that argument for any war in the past. We could have just left the Nazis alone.
We could have.
You know, I mean, we could have done that. Maybe they would have stopped eventually. Look, I don't think so, though.
Look, I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do anything. I just think that this is a different war that needs to be.
I'm just saying
that needs to be approached in a different way.
Do you think that this will inevitably lead to World War III?
No, I don't.
You don't? No. Because I actually think we're in the middle of World War III right now.
And I know you've said that before.
And there's no right or wrong answer to this. But there actually will be a right or wrong answer 50 years from now. But, we won't be around to see it, or maybe we'll be
50 years from now? Are we going to be alive 50 years from now?
Yeah, we'll be around 50 years. Yeah, probably. Well, maybe. I don't know if we will or not.
Unless World War III happens, we're dead.
You're really healthy. You'll probably be around 50 years.
No, you'll be around 50 years.
But yeah, I mean, we'll be around.
We'll probably still be podcasting.
Probably.
Going back to this show and saying, "See, I told you so." Either which way.
Right. No, we'll see eventually, but it's going to be a while before we see whether or not we, are in World War III. I've used the analogy before, used the past precedent before that. People in China in the 1930s didn't know they were in World War II. They weren't calling it that, but when we study World War II now, we consider that World War II. And I believe that when they talk about World War III, decades from now, they'll say it started, 2014-ish, somewhere along those lines. We'll see. Again, we can't know whether that's true or not. But I do think that, basically in World War II, the United States had to jump in. And I know the Europeans would take offense to this to some degree, but because the Europeans did a lot. They sacrificed a lot. They fought really hard, and they did great in World War II. But the United States had to join World War II to help save the Jews from the Nazis and to help save Europe from the bad parts of Europe. Now, is that oversimplifying it? Grossly oversimplifying it. And is it just blowing up what the U.S. did? Yes, it is. Is it being an American bragger? Well, yeah, but that's not my point here. But yeah, they did that. In this case, if that same thing happens, the Jews are going to be able to save themselves. They made sure of that with the state of Israel. And the U.S. will be lucky if they can save themselves. Because Europe, I don't think it's savable. I hope somebody tries. But I don't think Europe is going to exist the way it exists now 50 years from now. I just don't think it will. The stuff you go see in Europe, the sites you go see, the things you go view and enjoy. People say, "Oh, I wouldn't go to Europe right now. It's too scary." No, if it's a lifelong goal of yours to see something in Europe, go now. Because kind of like seeing a Soundgarden concert, it may not be there. It may not be there. It's probably not going to be able to be enjoyed the same way it's enjoyed right now. And before we wrap this up, do we want to talk about sports a little bit at all? I know you got your other sports shows, but we got NBA finals going on. We got NHL finals going on.
Yeah, I will.
Predictions, comments. I know we don't got a ton of time.
We don't, but I will say this: go and listen to last night's The Majors Live, which is currently up on iTunes and our website, themajors.net.
You can get there from theempiremedia.com too.
Yes, you can. I will say it's an intriguing. I think both the NBA and both the NHL has been very, very intriguing. I think we're seeing a great finals right now in the NHL between the Predators and the Penguins.
2-2 right now, right?
2-2. Yep. Predators just tied it up last night. What the hell happened? Just got. Are you hearing anything?
No.
You're not?
No, I'm good.
I think my. Oh, there we go. Did I think these headphones just cut out. Oh, there we go.
You're saying, am I hearing anything bad? Yeah,
no.
I'm hearing you. I'm
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good on my...
Okay. Yeah. My the cord on my headphones just got twisted.
Right.
It sounded like we cut it out, but I will say excellent playoff series or finals so far in the NHL. I like the competition. I think we've got two very, very nice teams going at it. And like I said, the Predators just tied it up last night after being down 0-2 in the series. So I definitely think that one's going 7 games. I'm still predicting the Penguins to repeat as Stanley Cup champions for the first time since the Red Wings won it in the 97 and 98 seasons. As far as the NBA goes, I think that what we're seeing right now is very intriguing. And last night during the Majors Live, I don't think the NBA gets a lot of props, but I was very much propping the NBA last night because I think what's going on in the NBA right now is very, very good. It's good for the association. It's good for basketball in general, especially across the country, considering that for the past 3 seasons in the NBA, we've had 2 teams compete for the championship who come from small markets and who built the core of their teams, not through free agency or being the highest bidder for free agents.
Mm-hmm.
They built their team through drafting. When you look at the Warriors, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, all draft picks of the Golden State Warriors, which in turn lured away Kevin Durant from another small market team in the
Sure.
Oklahoma City Thunder. Cleveland Cavaliers, small market team. Even though LeBron James left halfway through, he still came back and he was drafted by the Cavaliers.
Right.
Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, that attracted guys like a Kevin Love to come and play for Cleveland. I think it's good, especially considering where we were with the NBA not too long ago.
You're seeing some dynamite basketball being played too.
You are, and I know this series it's been all Golden State so far, and even the final couple nights to go wasn't reminiscent of just how much of a blowout that
You
game
think
actually
LeBron and
was.
the boys turn it around at all?
No, I don't, because I think Kevin Durant's going to be the difference in this one. Last year, the Golden State Warriors didn't have Kevin Durant. This year they do, and the guy's playing like he's on a mission.
And when I say that, because I mean it's looking really good for Golden State right now, up 2-0 in the series. But when I say, do you think LeBron will turn it around? I don't even mean, do you think LeBron will turn it around and bring in a Cavs championship? I just do you think LeBron's going to turn around at all, or do you think it's going to be a sweep?
I think that the Warriors are probably going to win it in 5 games. The trouble is right now with what's going on with LeBron is LeBron going up against this particular Golden State team, being the best player on the court isn't good enough anymore.
No, it's not.
He needs support from the rest of his team. He's not going up against a Dallas Mavericks team or, in some sense, a San Antonio team. And I love those San Antonio teams. I think Greg Popovich is still the best coach in all of basketball. And arguably the greatest coach basketball coach ever set foot on the court.
The Spurs were a fun dynasty.
They sure were.
Yeah.
But when you look at this particular Golden State team, they've got so many different pieces, so many good pieces to that team. And they've got a budding, great head coach in Steve Kerr. Like I said, just being LeBron James and just being the best player on the court isn't good enough anymore.
No, it's not.
And
They're playing around him, in essence.
Yeah, they are. And like I said, but in essence, this what's happening right now is excellent for the NBA. I don't think the NBA is getting enough credit for it, simply because of where we were a couple of years ago when the NBA was trying to push those supermarket or those super big market teams,
Right.
like in New York or LA
Miami.
or Miami, and that wasn't the formula for winning. And I think the NBA observed that. And to win in the NBA, you've got to do it through the draft. And I think that's something that I hope people can respect. And not just get on, oh well, I don't want to see this, I don't want to see this 3 years in a row. Well, you know what? They're not big market teams and they built their team the right way.
And if you don't want to see it 3 years in a row, tough cookies, man. Because right now, there's some other good teams in the NBA, but you got 2 teams who are far and above everybody else. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors.
And you know what? These 2 teams very well could meet again next year.
I put it this way. At this point, it would be a really bold prediction to say that they won't. Barring one of these superstars leaving one of these teams.
Yeah.
Who is going to be better in the East than the Cavs? Who is going to be better in the West than the Warriors next year? It's not going to happen. I
think the gap in the East is starting to close a little bit when you're seeing teams like Boston and Washington start to close things up a little bit.
But LeBron's not going anywhere.
Even in some sense, Toronto. No, LeBron's definitely not going anywhere. The thing with Golden State, though, is this is a team that could be together for a long time. Kevin Durant's already come out and said, and this is something you don't hear a whole lot, especially when we're talking small market, with a small market team. He's gone and said he wants to take less money to keep the core together.
Sure.
And that's commendable. It's commendable for winning. People in Golden State should be very, very excited for something
I
like
know
that.
a lot of people jumped all over KD for leaving Oklahoma City. I realize that.
What? And I don't think it was justified.
No, neither do I. But I realize people jumped all over him. But put it this way, guys: he didn't. He stayed there for a while.
He stayed there for 8 years.
He's shown that he's not opposed to playing in a small market team. He just wants to win.
He wants to win.
So it's I don't think this is a guy that has a bunch of desire to go play for the Lakers or the Knicks or the Heat.
No.
It's not there.
Unless they can win.
Yeah, but if he has his chance to win at Golden State, just like if he had his chance to win with the Thunder, he seems more than cool with doing that. He doesn't want to go to the big market just to go to the big market.
No.
So I really don't think that's an issue with him at all.
No.
He gave it the old college try at
Sure
Oklahoma
he did.
City,
And you know
man.
what? You know what? If it didn't happen after 8 years, it's probably not going to happen at all.
No.
Not with that group at least.
No. Not, and especially not with the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers being where they're at.
No, the best chance that the Thunder had to win it is when they had a group comprised of James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Kevin Durant, but couldn't get it done. And they're not going to get it done, probably next year either. So, yeah. Anyways, like I said, go check out the Majors Live though.
Yeah, no, I hope people do too. If they're if you're interested in hearing about that, you guys are great. You guys do a great job covering it. I know.
Hey, do you want to? I know. We're running low on time. Do you want to try to give Kraft a call?
Yeah. Today,
like right now.
If you want, sure.
Let's see if we can. See if we can.
Because I'm pissed about this handy snack thing, man. No red stick. If you guys missed the beginning of the show, they're no longer giving out red sticks in the handy snacks. And my favorite snack that I know I should have given up when I was a child, like everybody else did, but love the handy snacks, man. The crackers and dip it in the cheese. Well, now you have to dip it in the cheese because they don't give you the GD little red stick anymore. It's pissing me off.
Oh, I can't get through. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we're gonna plan this for because that was impromptu. We're gonna try to plan this for a different show because I need to talk to somebody.
Maybe we'll try it next week.
No,
we can't do it next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because this is what's going to happen. It won't happen next week, even though you'll still complain about it next week because we'll stop at the same party store and you'll go and you'll pick up the same crackers and cheese and you'll be like, I can't believe they still didn't give me a stick with this. And even the following week when we're driving, to the show, we'll stop at that same party store and you'll get the cracker and you'll make the same. Right. And
I don't know if I'm going to keep buying the crackers, but
you will
probably. But I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of boycotting. But speaking of next week, before we get to our news section, we do want to publicize next week. We're back in our deep issues topics. Next week, we're discussing the theory of Atlantis. Should be a fun show. I think we're going to have Kyle and Ed, our deep issues crew, back in here again to discuss this. It should be a really fun one, a little bit different. We've been heavy in the conspiracy theories of late when it comes to our deep issues, but we're going into Atlantis, which there might be a little bit of a conspiracy aspect to it here and there.
I think there's a conspiracy aspect to it, and you know what? It may touch on the Nazi occult too that we discussed a few weeks ago.
There's definitely going to be some throwbacks to some of our past deep issues,
which it always seems there are.
Yeah, for sure. But Theory of Atlantis should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of weird info out there about it. A lot of debunking info too, which we will talk some of that. We're not going to be totally pro Atlantis slappies necessarily.
Cool.
But
are we going to be talking Aquaman
and Namor?
Namor, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think we should definitely mention Aquaman. The vast Aquaman conspiracy, and Namor the Submariner. If you're more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan, for sure.
I am more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy, but you got to identify more with Aquaman.
Aquaman's the real deal.
Yeah,
for sure. Even though I believe Namor is actually older.
Is he?
Yeah, Namor. His first appearance was in 1939.
Oh.
I'm not sure when Aquaman's was off the top of my head. It's not much after that, if it is after.
So Aquaman was the ripoff then.
Yeah, I do believe that. I know for sure that's legit. The 1939.
Does Marvel have a ripoff to Superman?
A few.
Do they?
They have the Sentry, and they have there's a few.
What about Batman? Do they have a ripoff to Batman?
Well, not. They have ripped off Batman a lot. I don't know that they have a direct character that is a ripoff of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got Daredevil. They have Tony Stark, which in some ways is like it's the Bruce Wayne aspect of it. Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they have necessarily a direct.
I would say,
Batman
that's a good one. I
ripoff.
would say Iron Man may be the closest thing to it.
Yeah, I mean, in other ways, they have the Punisher, they have Daredevil.
Is
Those
it-
are big.
Isn't Tony Stark a little bit more flamboyant than Bruce Wayne
very
is
much
too?
so. Yeah, very much so. And they go a different route with their using the gadgets for. I mean, Iron Man is a very extremely super powered technological marvel, where Batman's like a behind the scenes kind of he's the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sure we won't like today. I'm sure we won't be able to completely avoid bringing comic books into what is supposed to be a serious topic. But that's always fun. And 2 weeks from today, talk about being super nerdy. 2 weeks from tonight, we're having up and coming podcaster Brad Davis. He'll be in studio with us, where we will discuss Star Wars theories. So you Star Wars nerds out there, or you Star Wars haters, will like that show as well.
And I said this:
So please do.
if Josh is up on the Constitution, his knowledge of Star Wars is like it totally blows the Constitution.
That is definitely true. I fancy myself a decent constitutional scholar, but I know myself to be a Star Wars scholar.
Even though I don't like him, are you the Ted Cruz of of Star Wars?
I might be, and if that's the case, then The Force Awakens would be Donald Trump, because I hated that movie.
Maybe the Sally Yates, because Sally Yates schooled Ted Cruz.
Oh yeah,
Mother,
yeah.
so,
Well, perhaps.
maybe you're the Sally Yates of the Star Wars.
Perhaps. Hey, do we have a news section?
We do, and I'll make it brief tonight because, like I said, I know we are. I know we're kind of running out of time here, but sticking with the whole comic book thing.
Yes.
This afternoon. I don't know if this is according to DC or what, but big news from the Batman and DC world.
Oh, okay. This is in the movie world of DC or the comic book?
Comic book
Okay.
world, which is more canon, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I guess after 75 years of being friends and foes, according to USA Today, Batman will propose to Catwoman.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So, sorry for the spoiler out there.
Wow, that is interesting. That's cool. That's cool.
So yeah, we've got Batman is and I see the picture right here. That I don't know if this is going to be a direct take from the comic book itself, but it's Batman. It looks a little tattered there.
I wonder what she's gonna say.
I don't know, but they've got the bat symbol going behind them, and I don't know. Are they still? Do they know? Do they know who each other are in the comic?
Yeah, I think so.
At this point, I guess it's
yes.
kind of.
I mean, that's been changed, and they did a whole revamp of DC a few years ago, where it was kind of like everything that you knew kind of didn't happen anymore. What's strange about that is to point out the part where it's not totally unprecedented is if you're a DC comic nerd at all, you know about the different Earths. So Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3. In Earth 2, Batman and Catwoman are married.
They're in my fantasy team, just so you know.
Or at least they were married at some point. Because the Huntress, which is a Marvel or a DC character, in the Earth 2 universe, the Huntress is the daughter of Batman and Catwoman.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that comes out. I'm assuming maybe pretty soon, but sticking with our Donald Trump thing tonight. According to Forbes, Donald Trump is one of the least charitable billionaires in the world. Eric Trump is far more, into charity. In a clash of values, the president directed hundreds of thousands of dollars from his son's Kids with Cancer Foundation into his own company. So you can go ahead and check that out at Forbes. Are you surprised by that? Really not.
No, not really.
No.
And I kind of like the Trump kids. At least I like them more than him. I don't know. When Trump fans tell me how great the Trump kids are, Ivanka and all this stuff, and say, Ivanka's great. She says great. Oh, she gave this speech. I always think, well, why didn't they run for president? I mean, I do like them better than I like him. They're just classier.
Jeff Sessions reportedly offered to resign as Attorney General. According to Maggie Haberman of the New York Times, confirmed that Sessions at one point told the president amid tensions. The New York Times reported last night that he needed room to do his job and did not need to remain Secretary or Attorney General if the president didn't want him there. Trump declined to accept. So, in any sense, it looks like Jeff Sessions is going to be staying on as Attorney General for the time being. And I'm no fan of Jeff Sessions, but apparently Donald Trump was angry. His anger towards Jeff Sessions started when he recused himself from the Russian investigation. But in essence, didn't Jeff Sessions really not have a choice in that matter?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with Jeff. I like Jeff Sessions. I think he's a good guy. I know you dislike him for other reasons. But no, I don't have a problem with this. And I guess that's the classy thing to do, is to offer a resignation, and Trump didn't accept it. So
look, I can assume that there's plenty of people within that administration right now that are just, my God, what do we do? I mean, this is just, it's tough. Look, I feel bad for him. I said it before. I feel bad for a guy like Sean Spicer.
Sure.
Because I can imagine his day-to-day life just has to be, in some ways, a living hell sometimes. Sears is
It's a crappy job.
You know what? Again, I always have to.
It's not an easy job.
I always have to preface. I'm not a fan of Sean Spicer either, but he's just doing what the president's telling him to do. I mean, that's what it is. So, let's see.
Donald Trump's not an easy guy to run damage control for.
No, he's not, especially when he's constantly contradicting you. So, Sears is reportedly closing 72 more stores. I don't know if you're ever a fan of Sears,
I am
Josh.
a huge fan of Sears, actually. I was a big fan of Kmart.
Kmart? Yeah.
I was.
There's like no Kmarts around anymore now.
They're done.
Are they totally gone?
They're done, yeah.
The retailers...
Sears and Kmart were together, and Sears had said that if Kmart goes, they might not make it.
Yeah. The retailer is shutting down more locations in addition to the 180 that have already been announced this year, according to reports on Tuesday. Sears Holdings, which owns both Sears and Kmart, will close stores coast to coast. So yeah, bad news for Sears. Kind of an institution.
Yeah, it really is. I miss that kind of shopping. I'm not an online guy, and I know most people are these days.
Oh my God, my wife is an online shopping fiend. Amazon.
Oh, I know.
Which is going to take over the world. And this is something that Dorf brought up last night, not on the show, but are you a little surprised that the government hasn't stepped in on Amazon yet? And
yes, I'm glad they haven't. Even though I'm not,
Yeah.
But yes, I am surprised.
And broken them up, or I don't know.
No, I am a little surprised by it, actually.
Let's see here. Edward Snowden defends the alleged NSA leaker reality winner. And no, that's not a fake name. That's actually her name. In a new statement, whistleblower Edward Snowden defended the 25-year-old contractor who allegedly leaked a highly classified document about Russian attempts to hack the 2016 election of officials. Snowden said reality winner's arrest amounted to a fundamental threat to the free press. My whole thing with this is, she apparently tweeted out stuff about hacking on her Twitter page and her disdain for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, why would they hire her? I mean, you think of the NSA, the one thing that they would definitely look at is your social media activity.
Sure.
I mean, isn't that kind of like a bank bringing in a guy that is has had the habit of robbing banks in the past?
I was wondering if you were going to go that far with it, but I agree. If you didn't take it that far, I was going to.
I mean, maybe not to that extent, but
yeah, maybe he didn't rob any banks, but he wrote a pamphlet as to how to rob a bank successfully.
Okay.
And then you go ahead and hire that dude. I mean, it just seems like maybe somebody you want to stay away from.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Anything else? No, I'm not gonna go with that. Let's see. Jerry Seinfeld awkwardly denied Kesha a hug.
What's that?
I don't
I don't
know.
know. Who's Kesha? I know.
She's that singer, right?
I don't know. I was going to ask you that. I thought you were up on this stuff.
No, not,
I mean,
not
I
that.
know.
See, that's what we need Nick here for.
Right,
We
yeah.
know Nick knows who Kesha is.
Right. We are somebody younger than us. No, I mean, I know the name. If somebody says Kesha, I know that that's somebody famous, and I think it's related to music, but I don't really know who Kesha is.
After Monday's National Light of Laughter and Song event at the Kennedy Center, the internet quickly learned that Jerry Seinfeld is not a hugger. During the encounter, the comedian reportedly rejected 3 hug requests from the singer. So, I always heard Jerry Seinfeld was kind of a dickhead in person too.
He seems like he's one of those guys that he seems like he's kind of a nice guy, and he seems genuine, but at the same time, he seems like he'd be very awkward and kind of standoffish and maybe hard to get along with. You know?
Yeah.
And I know people don't say anything overly negative about him, and I know he's done nice things and good things for people, but he doesn't seem like he doesn't always seem like a guy who'd be like super fun to hang out with. And I've heard that about some comedians, that a lot of comedians, you think that they're going to be always on or really funny in a living room, but that a lot of times they're not. They're kind of awkward and kind of standoffish. They used to say that about Steve Martin too.
Oh, really?
They used to say that Steve Martin was a nice guy, but that you'd never guess he was a comedian. That he wasn't funny. He didn't say funny. Like he wasn't somebody that said funny things when you were around him.
I wouldn't suspect that about Steve Martin.
You know that like people would meet him in person and think, well, this guy was the funniest guy in America. Like he's not funny though. Like he's not somebody that. But there's different kinds of comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, and some people write their comedy, and some people are just goofy and funny.
Sure. Yeah. I never watched Seinfeld either, but the other day I watched the Soup Nazi one.
Uh-huh.
And it was funny. I liked it. I thought that was good. I'm not gonna go and watch Seinfeld episodes though.
I love Seinfeld. I was a big fan back in the day.
Were you? I really wasn't.
A buddy of mine, his sister lives in New York, and she's got a picture. He has a picture of her with the real Soup Nazi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she went to the.
Oh, that's cool.
To the soup place, and the guy, I guess, will pose with people now because
that
knows that he's the Soup Nazi.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. But anyways, one last thing, Josh. Did you see this this image? This was just this week of this guy mowing his lawn with a tornado in the background.
I see it not till right now.
And he said, and I'll go ahead and put it on for our viewers watching us right now on Periscope, YouTube, or Facebook Live. Let me go ahead and transition that. So yeah, there you go, people.
And they're fact checking this, and they're saying this picture is legit.
Oh, this is legit. It happened in Alberta, Canada, and the guy, I believe, and I'm going to paraphrase his quote here, but he said that he kept an eye on it while he was mowing the lawn. But he said his wife gave him a list of chores, and one of them was mowing the lawn that day, and
husband.
I guess happy wife, happy life, right? And he had to get the lawn mowed, but yeah, that's real.
Yep, grass isn't going to cut itself.
That's right.
It's
and
dedication.
Yeah, so
being a homeowner doesn't stop in inclement weather.
Yep. But anyways, so yeah, that's it for the news.
Cool, it's good. We haven't been able to do Around the Empire with Adam in a little while. We had so many different deep issues topics, so many different things keeping us busy. But it was good to just go back to a regular old show like we had today. I hope people enjoyed it. But to get away from regular old shows, next week, come in, same time, same channel. All those different places will be available. Come check us out, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, here on theempiremedia.com, or the host of other places where we are now available. Next week's deep issue will be The Theory of Atlantis. Please join us.
Absolutely. And we'll see everybody next time.